What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk to you about something that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently, and that is coaching the uncoachable traits, or coaching the uncoachable skills, really. In a coaching context, I guess your objective or your goal is to improve your lifters and improve their performance and maximize their performance. Maximizing their performance comes through a number of ways, obviously getting them stronger, so through their strength training, through appropriate programming, mitigating injury, as well as improving their technique. Easy enough. Teach people how to squat properly, teach people how to bench press properly, and teach people how to deadlift properly, and they will perform well in powerlifting competitions. But of course, there are some skills that you can't teach very easily. What I mean is that it's easy to teach someone how to squat, right? You tell them how to squat, you watch them squat badly, you tell them what they did wrong, and repeat this process until they get better at it. But it can be a lot harder to teach people skills and traits which are very important for their performance, very important for their results, but are a lot more intangible. I'm talking about things like commitment, or tenacity, or audacity, or to have a little bit of grit about you, to have a little bit of oomph about you. It's really hard to teach lifters how to come up against, when they got their back against the wall, when they're in a position of high stress, of high anxiety, of high pressure. How do you teach someone, or how do you prepare someone for those situations or scenarios? If a lifter, say, for example, misses their opening squat, or they need their last deadlift in order to win the powerlifting competition, how do you prepare someone for those things? How do you teach a lifter to be committed and dedicated so that they train, 4 to 5 days a week, every week for years on end? How do you keep lifters motivated? How do you make sure that your lifters are as best prepared as they can be? And I guess my follow-on question from that is, how much responsibility does a coach have in ensuring that these traits or these skills are improved on or developed? My initial answer to that is a lot. You have a lot of responsibility, and it is one of your jobs as a coach. Coaching to me, and I've said this a number of times, isn't program writing. People ask me, oh, JP, can you coach me, or can you write me a program? Those aren't the same thing. I can write a program, but I don't believe in that, which is why I don't do it. I don't write programs for people. People ask me for a program, I don't write it, because that's not my job. My job as a coach is to develop the whole athlete, develop the whole lifter, technique, programming, well-roundedness, as well as the emotional and mental traits required for success in the sport of powerlifting. And it is, in my opinion, that as a coach, that is part of your responsibility, part of your job. It might not be part of your job in the sense that that's not what's included in your service, right? So, for example, some restaurants will serve some types of food and some restaurants will serve others. Some restaurants will include free water or something, and some restaurants might not. So, as part of your coaching service, maybe you don't include that in your coaching service, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is in my interest that a comprehensive coaching system includes some sort of guidance and teaching of these uncoachable skills and traits. I guess we move on to the next question, the natural next question, which is, how do you teach someone how to be tenacious or arrogant, or how do you develop those traits in people? And I think one of the things that you need to realize is that you can't really teach them in the same way, obviously, that you would teach a physical skill or a motor skill. And there are kind of two ways that I go about ensuring that my lifters learn about these things and develop them. First is through giving of opportunities. Giving lifters and your lifters, athletes, the opportunity to discover these traits and to learn about these traits in their training and competition journey and experience. A really good example was just the other day in the gym. One of the boys at the gym, Matty, shout out to Matty, had to do a squat top single 150 kilos for it, which was a personal best. And he missed it, he failed it, and it was his heaviest squat of this training cycle. He's actually competing this weekend. And he said to me, JP, can I do it again? Can I have another go? And the responsible coach in me, if I was coaching, say, a more general pop client or something, and they missed the rep like that, my answer would be no, because from a physiological point of view, probably not the best idea. All right, you're under a lot of fatigue, you know, you just failed it. Even if you do get it, it's going to be really hard and grindy, probably counterproductive to what we're trying to achieve right now. We're better off just stripping the weight, doing a little bit of, you know, heavy volume. But I saw this as an opportunity for Matty to learn about, you know, to learn from this experience, to have another go, right? Really fire him up. So I said to him, all right, we'll go again, 5 minutes, we'll go, but you have to get it and you've got to do it right, you know? And I kind of grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and said, you can do it, man, I believe in you. You definitely can do this. You know, gave him 1 or 2 cues, and he came back 5 minutes later and he crushed it. Which was awesome. It was good for him, it was good for the gym, everyone got around him and that kind of stuff. So that's one way that I think you can teach lifters, you know, some of these intangible traits, is through giving of opportunities. The second way is through demonstration. You know, I'm kind of lucky in the sense that at the gym I'm able to coach in person. I know a lot of people do a lot of online coaching or in classes and stuff like that, or personal training. But the coaching that we run at the gym is very informal, I guess. Lifters get their programs and I'm floating around and I help out and I'm able to actually train with them. So I actually train with the lifters, you know, in the evenings and afternoons. And yeah, as I'm saying, demonstration is one of the best ways you can teach people these traits. And I like being able to do this because, you know, I like being able to train with the lifters because I can demonstrate some of the skills that I want them to learn about or discover in their own training experience. But we can kind of, you know, I can kind of be the catalyst for that through demonstration. A really good example of this was a few years ago. I remember I was doing a really hard training session. The workout was 6 sets of 3 squats at 190 kilos. And it was a really hard workout at the time. My max was probably about 215, 220 kilos or something. And I got through the first 4 sets and they were really hard. Like every triple was like RP9, RP 9.5. Like they weren't easy at all. But my time was running real short. I had to be out real quick. And I said to my spotters at the time, I'm just gonna do 6 on this set and then get out of here. And I remember they kind of looked at each other as I was setting up under the bar. You can see it in the video. And they kind of looked at each other like, is this guy nuts? Like, we've been spotting him the last 4 sets and they sucked. He's not gonna get 6. And I remember this because I was coaching those lifters at a time, and as I was kind of setting up under the bar, I kind of said to myself, you know, this is my opportunity to show, to demonstrate, to prove what, you know, what you're physically capable of, what your body can do if you really want it to. And, you know, I had a little bit more oomph about me, you know, I kind of gave the bar a really big rattle and I got 6 reps. And they were hard, but I got 6 reps. And I remember kind of re-racking the bar and they were a little bit surprised and I kind of had a little bit of an arrogant smirk about me. You know, and this was kind of my way of saying, you know, you can do it. This is what hard training looks like. This is what, you know, obviously not every workout's going to be like this, but this is what hard training looks like. So that's kind of the second way that I think that you can help your lifters learn these uncoachable skills, through demonstration. I'm not saying that it is easy to teach lifters how to do these things. I'm not saying that you know, failing to teach your lifters about these traits is a failure on your end. But I'm saying it's something you should probably think about, because again, the top level lifters all have it. You know, some lifters are born with it. Some lifters discover it quite easily. Some lifters just will never develop it no matter how hard they try, you know? And again, I'm talking about things like, you know, being a little bit arrogant, being, you know, fired up, how to, you know, come back after failing an opening squat. You know, this is the beauty of strength training, because it gives us opportunities to discover these things, opportunities to express these skills, opportunities to discover these things about ourselves, which can then be transferred over to other domains of life. And again, that's one place where some lifters have learned those traits. You know, I've had lifters come through the door and they just have these traits that they've learned from other sports that they've done in the past, or other, you know, just domains of life. You know, and they're a little bit more natural in the sense that they're able to just have a bit of grunt about them, you know, have a bit of oomph about them. Yeah, I wish there was a better word for this, but that's as bad as descriptive as I can be. So I hope you've enjoyed this discussion. You know, in the comment section below, please let me know. Please let me know what you think about this. Is this something that you've learned in your own lifting as an athlete or as a coach? Is this something that you've thought about and tried to teach amongst your lifters? And if so, how do you do it? Do you do it through through, you know, giving lifters the opportunity and through demonstration and all these types of things, or do you have another way that you do it? I don't know. So, I mean, I'm by no means an expert in this field, if you can call this a field, but, you know, I'd like to think that I know a little bit about coaching and have a little bit of experience. So, again, hopefully you can take something away from this. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.